Hey, fourth grade, we're going to learn about fractions, and this first week we're just kind of getting an intro of what is a fraction and how can we use fractions to help explain things. So I'm going to walk you through this worksheet since this is kind of our first time working with fractions. So if you are looking for some help, this is your answer. Please make sure that you watch this Number Rock video though, because Number Rock is super amazing and they do a great job of explaining their concepts. So this is all about fractions. Make sure you watch this video, and when I'm done recording this, the video that I'm making will be on here as well. So this first slide just kind of tells us how to do stuff, which is really cool. Obviously, I didn't make this, if you can tell. So you don't have to do anything on this slide. It's just showing you what to do. So you're going to be able to click on the numbers and drag them where they need to go. Okay, let's go to slide 4. So when we're looking at this slide, it says fraction versus whole number. So if we remember in the Number Rock video, a fraction is a part of something. And obviously a whole number is what we have been working with all school year long and what you've worked with your entire life as a math student. So numbers that you recognize over here are going to be whole numbers, and numbers that don't look familiar or that are set up differently are obviously going to be our fractions. So let's go ahead and let's drag all of our whole numbers over here. So I see a 4, 9, 7, and a 5. Okay, all the rest of these then are fractions because they have a part over a whole. So this does not represent a whole amount. It represents part of a whole. So the one we probably recognize the most is half. Okay, we say half a lot because that's something that we deal with a lot. Like maybe we cut an apple in half, or maybe you have to share half of a bag of popcorn with your sibling, okay? Half is very familiar. 1/2 is not read as 1/2s, it's read as half. This one is 4/9. This one is 3/6, 2/3, and 7/9. So we always read the numerator first, the denominator second. The numerator is the top number, the denominator is the bottom number. So this slide kind of then goes off of that. So the numerator is, again, the number that's on top. So we're going to take these circles, we're going to drag and drop them over all the top numbers. So it's the number that we say first whenever we are reading a fraction. Okay, so go ahead and slide these over. This is super easy, guys. Okay, these are our numerators. Okay, the numerator is on top, the denominator is on the bottom. Okay, so the next slide, we're figuring out how many spots are shaded in each of these. And so remember, the numerator is the part, the denominator is the whole. So part over whole is how we write fractions. So the whole parts are down here. Notice this rectangle has 3 sections to it. So 3 is the whole amount of sections in this shape. But how many of these sections are shaded? So what you can do here is you can either click in it and click backspace, or you can double click on it and then type in the numbers. So I see that there's 1 purple square shaded in this rectangle. So I'm going to put a 1 there. Over here, there's 8 total spaces, but only 2 of them are red. So I would change this to 2. Down here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why 5 is in the denominator, okay? So 5 total spaces in this shape, and notice all of the spaces are the same size. That's super important when it comes to fractions. That's also why it's not always a great idea to draw out fractions, because we're humans and it's very difficult to draw equal spaces. So there's only 3 of them that are shaded, so the numerator would be 3. Over here, there's 4 total sections in our circle, but 3 of them are shaded, so we will put 3. So all of these fractions would be read as 2/8, 3/5, 1/3, and 3/4. Okay, let's go to slide 7. Now we're going to talk about the denominator. So the denominator is down below. Think about the denominator being in the downstairs. Both start with D. So what you're going to do is you're going to drag all these circles over here to circle all the numbers that are on the bottom. So I'm not going to do all that right now because you guys can do that. Let's go to slide 8. So on the previous section where we were talking about the numerators, it was how many spots were shaded, okay? And we can see that in each of these shapes, only one spot is shaded. So the numerator is 1 for all of these, but the denominator depends on how many spaces there are total. We have to include the one that's shaded, otherwise we would not have a whole shape. So in order for this to be considered a whole shape, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 spaces. So we're going to put 6 as our denominator. In the circle, it's divided up into 4 equal parts. So our denominator is 4. In this shape, let's see how many sides does it have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you guys know what an 8-sided figure is called? It's an octagon. So one of those is shaded, but there's 8 total spaces. So we are going to put an 8. And then here, there's 3 total spaces in our rectangle. 1 is shaded, so that is 1/3. 1/6 of this shape is shaded. 1/4 of the circle is shaded, and 1/8 of the octagon is shaded. Okay, the next several slides are just like this, okay? So what you're going to do, this is just a direction slide. You're going to label the fractions shown. So remember, the numerator is the amount that's shaded. The denominator is the total amount of spaces within the shape. So I will do 2 slides with you, and then you will do the rest on your own. So slide 10 we can do together. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total spaces. So my denominator will be 8. And how many of those are shaded? There's 3 shaded red. So this fraction would be 3/8. Over here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total spaces. And of those spaces, only 1 is shaded green. So my top number would be 1. Okay? Let's go on to slide number 11. Okay, this shape right here is divided into 2 sections, and one of those sections is shaded. My goodness. And so this fraction is 1/2. Over here, my goodness, this will take a while to count. 1, 2, be careful as you're counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total spaces. And I'm not going to count how many are shaded because I can see that only 1 is not. So if I take 1 away from 9, that'll be 8. All right, so I gave you a few strategies there on how to complete this worksheet. There's a few more sections where you need to go through and label what the fraction is according to the shape that's being shown. So this is our introduction to fractions, and we're going to have a lot of fun with fractions. I hope that this kind of gives you a better understanding of what we mean when we say fractions. And so today and tomorrow and Friday will all be used to kind of introduce fractions to us, and then we will get into chapter 8 of our math series. All right, guys, that's it for today. Have a good one.